Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up.
Good morning, our first Friday Run It Back. Everyone but Lou is sick as a dog these days. I don't know what Lou's immune system is the best one, but we're going to get through it. Shams is not here because, of course, he's on his way to Indianapolis for All-Star festivities. But we did have a couple of games last night. Boy, did we have a couple of games last night, and I can't wait to get into both of them. Warriors, you're up first. You beat the Jazz, 140-137. The big story in this one, Klay Thompson coming off of the bench. First time doing that since 2012. He had 35 points. Draymond, 23, 5, and 4 steals. Curry only had to do 16 points, y'all. There you go. Sexton with 35 and 9. But the Klay Thompson part of the story is really where we want to focus. He had a great night, and this is the night we were hoping to see from him for such a long time now. Is this angry Klay because he was benched? Like, what? Why do we interpret this particular night for Klay Thompson, Chandler?
He's definitely not happy, but a lot of guys, they go through this at the end of their career. Now, am I going to sit here and say he had 35 because he came off the bench to prove Kerr like he still has some left in the tank? I don't think that's the case. I still think he has something in the tank, and I still think he can still provide nights like this where he can get hot and he can shoot very, very effective from the three. He's still tall. He still moves off screens pretty well. He's just not the same player he once was, but that's okay. But it's looking like a good move now because, angry or not, this is the best game he's had in a long time. So kudos to Kerr for basically being at rock bottom, changing up, pretty much everything. And now this is kind of the last move. Like, okay, Klay, and big respect for him too, because he could have went in a shell. He could have been pissed off. He could have been passive. I've seen guys come off the bench, turn down open shots, act like an asshole, not play their normal game. He did the opposite. He got hot early and he continued to ride that, and he's a huge part of why they won this game. So I don't think it's going to change. I think he's going to stay there now. And they got to win, which barely, because John Collins had a horrible turnover at the end of the game. They still could have lost this game. But this was a huge step for Klay Thompson, his progression to show everybody, put everyone on notice, like, look, I'm still capable.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this because, it's weird. They were playing well. They were in a good position, playing the better basketball that they have been throughout the course of this season. And, you put Klay on the bench and he comes out with one of his best games of the season. So I don't know whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. Ooh. What I do know is Klay shot the hell out of the ball last night, and this is the first time we've seen a glimpse of him looking like the Klay Thompson of old that we've got accustomed to seeing on the basketball court. So I don't like this move, but it worked. And so I really don't know what to make of it. So I guess we just keep our minds open and see what happens.
You don't? Okay, so let's hold on to that thought because you don't like the move, because Klay, of course, was asked about coming off the bench. Here he is afterwards.
Found out this morning. Me and Steve had a good talk about it. And, you could do two things. You can pout or you can go out there and respond. And I thought I did the latter very well tonight. Especially no turnovers, and I missed a few box outs though. But more importantly, I realized I'm going to play a ton of minutes. So you just got to let the ego go when you think of coming off the bench and all that. So, I thought about Manu Ginobili. That guy has 4 rings and gold medal, and he came off the bench his whole career. And I don't think anyone looks down on his Hall of Fame candidacy. He's one of the greats, and I thought I embraced it before tip. And, I deserved it, really. I didn't respond to the not playing at the end of the game well last night. I kind of took it out on the assistant coaches, and I apologized to those guys before the game. And I think that really let my guard down and let me just be myself out there.
I do love a long Klay Thompson soundbite. That's he's very honest. So Lou, there's his take on the assignment, and you already said that you don't love it. So why not? If it works.
If it works, it works. But listen, after hearing his response, give him credit. This is very professional very mature and very much Clay-like. So I'm happy that he's embracing everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. He realized he isn't playing his best basketball. He's not in favor of the decision, but at the end of the day, he's trusting his coaching. He's trusting his organization to put him in a position to be successful and give them the best opportunity that's needed for them to give themselves another opportunity to make a playoff run. And so this was the very mature, very professional response that we would expect out of Klay Thompson. And at the same time, he's expressed his frustrations. You know, he's saying it's not perfect. This is not ideal for me, but I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to make the best out of it. And, you know, he drew inspiration from Manu Ginobili. And he's very right. You know, nobody has frowned upon the career that Manu Ginobili has been able to put together for himself. But, you know, Klay, this is only game one for you. You know, this is only game one. You know, you got a lot more. It's going to get different. You know, I don't know if he's going to come off the bench and have 35s every night. He's going to have his ups and downs, but, you know, the hardest part of that journey is going to be him embracing that position and trying to make the best of it. And it seems like he's off to a good start with that.
You think he was the one that brought up Manu, or you think Steve Kerr brought up Manu in the talk they had?
That definitely was a coach thing. That definitely was a coach thing. You know, one of those coach isms to get you to buy in and give you a great example. You know, it's a lot of guys that he can make that example that it didn't go their way. So to pull Manu Ginobili out of the blue, I think this is a Steve Kerr thing.
I kind of love that. Chandler, you liked it. You were clappity clap claps.
Well, I just think that was quite possibly the best thing he could say, whether he means it or not. That was a classy, mature move. Like Lou said, he said all the right things. He got his point across that, yeah, he's not happy, but at the same time, he doesn't deserve to start right now. And by the way, this doesn't grant him the guarantee to even play at the end of games every night, but it doesn't matter. It's Steve Kerr is now in a box with this team, and he's got to try different things. It would be psycho for him to keep doing the same thing over and over again, just riding these older guys because of their resume and not because of the production that they're given this year. So I think it's an all-around good move. And Lou just said it too. Is he going to do this every single night? Like, I doubt it, but it's a great start. I bet he feels a lot better this morning after, having 35 and a win than playing awful and being benched at the end of the game. So this is a great start to kind of his second life. And look what this did to Russell Westbrook. Look, Melo had to go. A lot of Hall of Fame type guys have to make this transition at some point. So he seemed to be handling it with the utmost class.
He's got a couple days off to just chill. You mentioned the John Collins pass, the errant pass. Somebody take me through what exactly happens here. How does this happen?
I mean, I think he just kind of got pressed a little bit. He was double, triple teamed. First of all, he had a great offensive rebound to even keep the possession alive here. He probably should have kicked it out to Sexton there, early. But I love what Colin Sexton did here too. The guy's had an up and down career, but he goes right up to him. He supports him. He puts his chin up. And that's what a great teammate should do. But you can't fault John Collins for this, because without his offensive rebound, they're not even in this situation. But yeah, I bet he wants that pass. I bet he wants that pass back just to get a look to possibly win the game.
Lou, why are you laughing? That's a bad moment.
Because it's one of those it's one of those things. Time and score. If you look at that clip, it shows when he gets that ball, he has his head down. I'm sure he feels pressure. He's listening. He can hear the crowd. He can hear the anxiety going up. He probably doesn't know where that clock is. It looked like he just panicked and threw a bad pass.
All right. We'll leave him alone for that. We'll move on to another team that I don't know what's going on here. Bucks, Grizzlies. Yikes. The Grizzlies, massive upset this one. Bucks were 14-point favorites, and the Grizzlies win this. They have 5 of their starters missing. And I don't know what to say about this Bucks team right now, but is this rock bottom for this team, Lou?
No, it's not rock bottom. There's a lot of basketball left to be played, but man, they got to figure it out. I actually watched this game last night, and I looked over to my friend, and it was about 7 minutes left, and I looked at him. I said, the way this game is going, the Bucks are going to win this game because they're gonna turn into who they are. And the Memphis Grizzlies are going to turn into who they are. And I was wrong on both ends. The Memphis Grizzlies, they played like the more hungry, better basketball team. And the Bucks kind of looked disheveled. They didn't know what to do on the offensive end. And defensively, they're still struggling. You know, Memphis was scoring at will, doing whatever they wanted to do on the offensive end, and I think that hurt the Bucks coming down the stretch of that game. Now, on the flip side of that, what we're also seeing is we're seeing a young basketball team giving the guys an opportunity to play, that they're playing with house money. There's no pressure on them to be successful. They're expected to lose a lot of these games, so they're going out there, they're playing free, they're playing relaxed, and those are the most dangerous teams you can play. When you're playing against a carefree team, when they don't care about turnovers, they don't care about doing the right things, they don't care about shot selection, you're going to run into a wall, because those are the most dangerous type of guys to play against. And Milwaukee experienced that last night. I think they took their opponent a little bit lightly, and they paid the cost.
It's crazy to me that they'd be taking anybody lightly, because in case you're not keeping track, the Bucks are 3-7 since they made the big coaching change. So Chandler, I don't know, is this a Doc Rivers problem? Is this a moment where maybe they're having regrets about changing coaches? Where should the Bucks be right now?
I think it's just kind of a collective thing here where the guys aren't playing very well. Doc's not making the adjustments as quick as they'd like. But the worst thing that could happen here is that doubt sneaks in, right? Like now the players, shit, should we have fired Griffin? Do we like Doc? Is he the right guy? Was it our fault? So is a loss like this the end of the world? No, like Lou said, this is a team with no pressure against a team with all the pressure. And this is the biggest trap game of the year. Every game I ever played in the day before All-Star Weekend, I was mentally gone, right? Like I was plane was booked. My crew was ready. We were going straight from the game to playing to Cabo. Like this game was a trap game. But yeah, it's not how they start. I think All-Star Weekend's coming at the perfect time for them. Let them get away from a little bit. Let Doc get his feet wet. Let him get comfortable. And I don't think it's time to panic quite yet, but this isn't exactly the start that they were hoping for with that much talent and this much, change that quick after that small of amount of games. You don't want to see 3-7 in your first 10 games.
No, and it does suck to have
but
the last games.
Chandler, let me ask you this though, because again, All-Star break is coming. This is a great opportunity for Doc to kind of sit down with his coaches, get an opportunity to get, like you said, get his feet under him, start putting in some of his system stuff. But he's coaching the All-Star game, so he has responsibilities as well. So when do they get an opportunity to try to get on the same page?
Well, thankful for him, All-Star Weekend's a lot longer now. It's like 8 days long or something ridiculous. But yeah, you're right. And that alone, I feel like he feels silly. He's already commented on that. Like maybe he'll send his staff, someone else needs to do it, because that's probably the funkiest thing I've ever seen in the NBA. This doesn't even make sense. And especially now with how it looks after 10 games. That he's the coach. But again, like it's coming at the perfect time, because this team just needs to take a deep breath, realize that they have enough for what it takes. Things aren't going their way, just like the Clippers when they made a big adjustment, they made a big trade. So there's light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, you're right. That sucks. He's on a plane to Indiana right now instead of bunkering down there and figuring some shit out.
Okay, so you guys touched on the fact that it's a trap game and people are mentally there. So I want to play the Doc Rivers sound here, but really I want your reaction on the other side about how it hits with players. Because it's one thing to think you've already mentally checked out. It's another thing for your coach to say it. Here's Doc.
First play, we gamble for the 50th time in the corner. Guy drives. We have to help, leads to a three. We come back in this on our set. Two guys forget what we're running. Then we miss the shot, and then nobody gets back. That's how we start out the third quarter. That tells you all you need to know about where our heads were. We had some guys here, and we had some guys in Cabo.
Does that bother anyone, or are they just like, "Yep, he's right"?
No. This is the norm. This is like Chandler just mentioned. If you're not an All-Star guy, jets are booked, flights are booked, hotels are booked. You've been planning for this for weeks now, and you're 2.5 hours away from freedom for the next 7 days to go find some sun, go do whatever it is that you want to do, and just take your mini vacation. And then this is one of those games. It takes great leadership. Usually one of your leaders is going to come in and say, hey, for 2.5 hours, let's lock in, let's do the work, and then we can go on about our business and everybody go their separate ways and go have a hell of a time. But for the next 2.5 hours, let's lock in. Leadership was supposed to check that before this game, because this is a trap game, especially on the road. I guarantee you, Half of those guys that can afford it, they flew directly from Memphis to wherever they were going. They didn't get back on that plane to Milwaukee to go to vacation. They're leaving from Memphis, Tennessee. So they had these plans already, and you get excited. Guys start talking. This is natural. You get in the locker room. Hey, where you going? What you got planned? This and that. So half of your mind, half of your mentality is somewhere else. This is natural, and this is human nature. So somebody was supposed to check that in the locker room, and it looked like it didn't happen.
Yeah, and you're right,
Someone
Luke,
forgot.
because this is an older team. This is a mature team. This isn't the Thunder we're talking about. This falls on Dame. This falls on Giannis. This falls on, Brooke Lopez, Jay Crowder. Everyone on that team that's a critical piece of that team has been in multiple of these games. So you're right. As much as it does fall on Doc to make the proper adjustments, this is a extremely irresponsible letdown from this entire team. And Doc's not just saying that at the press conference. He definitely said that in the locker room after the game. He definitely was emphasizing that during the game. So I don't think the team is caught astray by Doc saying that. But this is a problem because Lou's right. This is just a maturity thing. You can focus for 3 hours and then go to Cabo for 6 days. Like, handle your business first, and they didn't. And in this league, it doesn't matter. Like Memphis banged up. Those kids are still talented enough to go and get a win against a good team. That's exactly what happened.
It's an exciting win for them. Look, the Bucks are only a game and a half up on the Knicks right now. We've been saying, I don't know about this in the East. Are they the third best team in the East, Lou?
I still think they're in the top 4. Talent wins basketball games in the league. They have a ton of talent. I still think they're one of the top teams. I still think they get out of this going into the playoffs with home court advantage. They're trying to figure it out right now. They're on a little slide, but still stand pat at 3. So we can't really panic. I don't think they've hit rock bottom. I think they figured this out. I've shared the locker room with a lot of these guys. They just added Danilo Gallinari, who's going to be a great addition to them when healthy, when on the floor. They got a ton of guys out there that know how to play the game of basketball, and they're going to flip the switch on. I'm not really concerned about this. I think they still put themselves in a great position coming out of the break.
Yeah, I think
Buying this.
I can't take the Cavs over them in a series. I can't take the Knicks over them. You know what I mean? So I still think they're the second best team with everything that's happened
Whoa.
in Philly. So when we're talking the small sample size, this last 10 games, yeah, they look brutal. I would take anybody over them. But when you look at the rest of the season, there's still 30 or so games. They still have these guys on their team. They still have 2 All-Stars. They still have a deep team. They still have the potential. I still have not taken any of those teams over them in a 7-game series. I can't.
Not yet. Not yet. Can we talk Grizzlies for 1 second? Because they are playing with a bunch of guys that I would assume most people have never heard of, and yet they come out and have a win like this. How valuable is it sometimes to be on a team that really just has absolutely nothing to lose, Chandler?
It's huge. These guys are playing for contracts. They're playing for food. Like, they're playing to stick around in the NBA. And this is an awesome opportunity for guys like Williams and Aldama, Goodwin. You're right. Gigi Jackson, he had 27 points. I've heard about him one other time, but this season when he went off against somebody, I think the Warriors. So they're auditioning every single night. And sometimes this is the door opens when you have all these guys out, and these young kids are going to find themselves on the Grizzlies next year or somewhere else. But it's because of these games. It's because they're playing hard. It's because they're playing good. It's because the opportunity that they're given right now. So, Jenkins, the coach, he's not saying, look, guys, wins, losses, we're trying to make the play. They're not even saying that. They're just going out there and they're saying, play hard as hell, play unselfish, and do what you do. And that's exactly what they're doing. And that alone is going to translate to some wins in this league. And you can just see on paper, they have no business winning this game. So I'm happy for them because these kids are getting an opportunity to showcase that a lot of guys don't ever get and end up in Europe or end up retired and end up doing something else. So this is a great opportunity for these kids.
Good for them. That was a big win, and you could tell by the way they were celebrating afterwards. Shall we take a look around the league? Because we had some history that was being made last night. Caitlin Clarke, of course, breaking the NCAA women's hoops record, scoring 35-28. That's 3,528 points. A career high 49. I think she only needed 8 when the game started to grab the record, but why go for 8 when you can get 49? She also had a record-breaking 3-pointer from the logo. How impressive is she, guys? Seriously, let's talk about this for a second. Lou, you first.
best college basketball player in the game, men's and women. She's just the best. She's proven it year after year. Hadn't won that big game. She's ran into some walls there, but individually, she's one of the most impressive women's basketball players I've ever seen, and it's just amazing to watch. It's amazing to just be a fan of her, and as a coach of women's basketball, and I know how much my girls look up to her. I know how much they watch her play, and so for her to be setting these type of examples and being this inspirational, it does wonders for my girls in women's basketball as a whole.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, for people that don't watch a lot of women's basketball, Caitlin Clarke has put them on notice. I get the same feeling that I do watching Steph Curry that I get watching Caitlin Clarke. It's insane. The way she can shoot the ball, the way she creates space, the range she has. It truly is a special talent. And watching that game last night, of course, she hits a 35-footer from the logo to break Kelsey's record here. But she's so impressive, and she's going to continue to do great things. And she's literally putting women's basketball more on the map than it's ever been, because she is awesome to watch.
So whether she stays or goes to the WNBA, do we think she's going to dominate WNBA? Let's just fast forward to her professional years.
No.
No. Okay. Good.
No,
all
not
right.
dominate. No, she's going to be a really good pro. She's going to hold her own, and she's going to be a 20-point plus average type of professional. When we say dominate, you got to understand there's women in that league that's been dominating. There's still Asia Wilsons of the world. There's still very, very good players. Sabrina Ionescu. You know, there's going to be a lot of women that's going to have something to say when you talk about dominate. She will be a very, very good pro, all-star level, perennial all-star level. But when you talk about dominate, that's going to take some time. It's been some women there that's had similar impacts in college basketball that she's had, and had the same impact at the professional level as well. And it took some time. And so with those examples being set, I see her being a really good pro, but dominate, I don't see that happening.
You know what's crazy? Like, I love the idea of the Sabrina thing and the Steph, them shooting.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it. I'm tuned in. If Caitlin Clarke was in that, I'm 1,000% watching. And I don't know if that's just the effect she has on me. I don't know if I just really enjoy watching her play, because Sabrina has a crazy game too. But I wish they would throw her in there too, because she can shoot that pill. It is crazy.
That's crazy that would be a bigger draw. Interesting. Well, maybe next season we'll get to see that. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, 5-time All-Star Tim Hardaway Sr. joins the show when Run It Back returns.
Run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.
Tim Hardaway, the killer crossover. That was brilliant. Hall of Fame. Put that in your highlight reel. Hall of Fame.
That's right. He is a Hall of Famer, 5-time All-Star, 13-year vet, Tim Hardaway Sr. joining us now. I know you are in Indy. You just told us that. I didn't know. I'm not cheating here. And you've done a ton of All-Star games in your career. Do you have a favorite memory that stands out as we get things kicked off?
Yeah, one year I suppose had started, and Magic had retired because of the situation that he was going through, and I was on a starting team, and Magic was able to play, and they said, yeah, he can play in the All-Star game, and I said I would give my starting job to him. And he went out there and got MVP. He took my MVP. So yeah, that was in Orlando. So yeah, that's one of my moments that I had at the All-Star game.
That seems about right.
And every time I see Magic, he always thank me. He say, "Thank you, man. I appreciate that." I say, yeah.
That's yeah, Tim. In 5 of those All-Star games, you played with or against Michael Jordan, and one of those games he had a triple-double, which is kind of crazy in an All-Star game. What was the most impressive thing you saw him do during those All-Star games? Was it the triple-double, or was it something else?
Well, we played against Michael, at least 5-6 times during the course of the season when I was with Miami Heat. So, and I played against him during the summer in Chicago too. So, nothing amazes me about Michael because I played against him so many times during the course of my career and, coming out of Chicago too. But it's just every day of him coming in, no matter what, if it's pick up basketball, he's going to play hard. He's going to go out there and give it to you. And he's going to go out there and compete. And that, and that's every game. I remember we was in the playoffs against Chicago Bulls. He went out that day and shot 36 holes of golf. Came in to the game that night and almost won it for him. He was like 6 or 8 for like 30, something like that. But he almost made the 2 jump shots. They crawled in and out of the basket, and they almost won that game 3. So, I tell you this, he's a phenomenal player. When you was on the court, you was always amazed because he was always prepared.
God, 36 holes and then do that. All right, so there's a moment when he had 50 against you when you were in Miami, and the legend is that you said something in a paper, like in the newspaper. Do you remember this? Is this what happened?
Did I say something? No.
Yeah.
That was Vashawn Leonard that said something.
What was said? Because I feel like you don't say anything about Michael.
Vashawn Leonard said something. We don't know what he said, but only thing I know Michael told Pat was contribute this ass kicking because of him, Vashawn Leonard. And that's all that was said. That's all that was said. And we was like, what? And we come to find out that he was kind of chirping in his ear. He wasn't loud with it. He was just chirping in his ear. And that's what that was. It wasn't me that said anything.
Okay,
it was
you knew.
Leonard just chirping in his ear, talking to him.
He didn't know. He didn't know.
What was it? What was that like trying to guard him, trying to stay in front of him at that time? Obviously the rules have changed from, that time period until now. But at that time, what was it like trying to guard him?
Well, he never took me outside the post. He always, because he knew if he dribbled in front of me, I would take it from him. I was good at stealing the ball from him because I count his dribbles and I saw, that he didn't get down all the way. But he always posted me up, and his footwork was incredible. His footwork with the right pivot foot or the left pivot foot, you could tell that he worked on that for hours and years. And his footwork was impeccable. And he have spin moves. He have, jump shots, spin shot, all type of stuff. But his will to just put the ball in the basket was incredible, man. Just incredible. It seemed like any shot that he took, it was going in. I mean, if you had your hand up right in his face, it didn't matter, And like I tell people today, they say, how can you see the basket? I said most guys, when they shoot, they don't see the basket because people are in front of them and jumping in front of them. It's all repetition. It's all them hundreds and thousands and millions of shots that you have taken and repetition each and every time you out there working on your game. So you know where the rim is at. If you shoot threes, 1,000 times, Chandler, Lou, you close your eyes and you can shoot the ball and you know that it's going in because you done shot that same shot at that same spot thousands and thousands of times. So that's the way he was. If you tried to guard him, if he missed, that was a win for you.
Tim, this weekend, there's a lot of buzz around the dunk contest simply because Jaylen Brown is in it. And he's the first All-Star to participate in the dunk contest since 2017. Do you think he'll kind of kickstart other star players doing this like they did in the 80s and 90s?
I tell you this, he better come with some stuff. If he don't come with some stuff, then other All-Stars are not going to dunk in the dunk contest. So he better. I hope he has. And Lou, you know what I'm saying, Lou. You better. I mean, if you're gonna dunk in a dunk contest, like for instance, you had Tracy McGrady or you had Vince Carter. That was in the All-Star game. They was and started in the All-Star game, and he went out there and put on a show for the dunk contest. That's what they want to see. So Jaylen Brown, my advice to you is you better put on a show because if you don't, guys gonna be like, you know what? That's why I saved my legs. I need to rest. That's why I'm not in the dunk contest. Yes, he better put on a show, but I wish him well.
God, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
is if he doesn't win.
that's why we're saluting them. Yeah, that's why we're saluting them, because we want guys to listen, put all of the fear aside, put on a show for the fans. Even if it's not going to be your best outing, the fans, at the end of the day, they sign up for All-Star Weekend. They want to see the best of the best, do the best things possible. They want to see them shoot threes and dunk and do all of those things. You know, no disrespect to none of the other guys. That's well deserved. We love to see the Matt McClungs of the world and the Toppings and all of these guys dunk. But we're there to see our all-stars be the best athletes in the world. And so they just got to put some of their pride aside and just sign up for it.
It's making me nervous now.
I agree with you.
Now I'm excited. I hope they don't get scared, because this is a step in the right direction. Tim, so we got to talk Run TMC, obviously.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite time? I know the shirt's awesome. Is it your favorite time playing basketball? And if you guys had stayed together longer, what do you think the ceiling would have been?
First of all, I had great times in Golden State and with the Miami Heat. But starting off with Golden State Warriors, Chris Mullin, Mitch Richmond, Run TMC, we got the Bay Area rocking, we rolling. Only thing, we had Alton Lister when we got him as a free agent from Seattle. He came in, and the first game of the preseason, he tore his Achilles. So that kind of hurt us and took us back a little bit. And then, we went to the playoffs and played against the Los Angeles Lakers. We was undermanned because we had to have Mitch Richmond guard Vlade Divac, and we had the gimmick and all this and all that. So, but the time there was great. We had a great buzz. We had a future there if we would have kept Mitch Richmond. Don Nelson finally said that his worst mistake of his coaching career was trading Mitch Richmond. We had a nucleus there, and the only thing we needed was some pieces for us to fulfill, and we would have went far. I think we could have contended for a championship myself, but and I know Chris and Mitch, they think so too if we would have stayed together. But we had something fantastic there, and it was like when Mitch got traded, it was the beginning to the end, and that hurt us because we had a great nucleus, and we had fun playing. We knew where each other was. I'm Mitch scoring 25, Chris Mullin scoring 26, I'm scoring 22, and having 10 dimes a game or 11 dimes a game. It was just remarkable basketball, and we knew, how to use our other teammates to get involved and make them happy too. So we just knew how to play, and we had fun playing with each other.
Yeah, Tim, you mentioned both of them, Don Nelson, Pat Riley, both legendary coaches. Did one of those guys have more of an impact on you on and off the court than the other, or they both were just awesome to play for?
Both was awesome to play for. Both was also are awesome guys on and off the court. You're talking about X's and O's, defensive wise. A lot of people don't think that Don Nelson is a defensive strategist. He is a defensive strategist. He likes the gimmick. He likes to do this. He likes to do that. But he understands that if you play the defense the way he wants you to play, you can win games. All right. Pat Riley is like in your face. We're gonna play D. You're gonna get over picks. We're gonna blitz the pick and roll. There's no switching, none of that stuff. But in today's game, I think they couldn't adapt to today's game because young players are totally different now. And when you grow up the way we grew up and how the game was played at that particular time, tough, rugged, beat you up, knock you down, being so physical, today's game, they be like, I don't understand that because that's the way they played too. You got to understand, Pat Riley and Don Nelson played the same way. So when we was playing, we played the same way. But, man, those two, they innovators. They understand the game in and out. They always paid attention to details. And that's what make them great coaches.
Now, when we break out the basketball dictionary and we look up the word crossover, your picture is going to be right there as the example of who championed the crossover. I gotta know, how did you perfect that, and who was one of your favorite victims that you caught with that crossover?
Well, it wasn't a favorite victim. It was just I just like to go out there and compete and like to go out there and play. It didn't matter who you were, where you were. If we was in a pickup game and I didn't know you from Adam, I'm still going to go at you the way I go at anybody else. And that's the way I was brought up. That's the way I'm made of. And I used to practice in the basement. My basement, I had an unfinished basement. My parents did. And we had two beams, like probably about 5 feet apart, 7 feet apart. And I used to imagine it that I'm playing in front of some guys that I wanted to play against in high school or in college. And this is what I do to them. So I'd be down there for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, just dribbling the basketball, in and out moves, crossover move between the legs, spin moves, and just perfecting, just the craft of dribbling. And so when I got out on the court, whatever I did, it wasn't new to me. I just did it in general. So if I come and cross you over, I'll come in and out and put it behind my back, that's what I was practicing. And that's what made me confident to go out there and do it against you. So, I didn't know I had a move like that. I just went out there and just played and competed. And when I needed it, I just did it. And I'm going to tell you this, I didn't know that I was doing it. I was just out there just hooping and trying to get myself open, get to the rim, make a play. Because back then, like I said before, we played in the playgrounds. It's a lot of physical activity out there. Hands, pushing, shoving, grabbing, holding. And in the parks, you can't call foul all the time. So you have to get through that, and you have to devise a move to get your body around people in a box, not out the box. We was always in this little type box, and we used our shoulders to get past you to make a play. So that's how I was taught, and it just took me to the next level.
Looking around the league, with that said, who do you think got the best handle right now? Who do you really like?
Oh, Kyrie Irving, no question. Kyrie Irving. My son plays for the Dallas Mavericks, and I get to watch all their games. And some of the stuff did you see what he did, first of all, to Wembanyama? Did you see?
Here we go.
When he went baseline and he kind of shot it over his head. And I mean, over a 7'4", 7'5" guy, that's difficult to do. That's very difficult to do. So,
Absolutely.
but Kyrie Irving is, one of the best right now. You got, of course, you got to put Steph Curry in there, of course. But yeah, I just think right now, Kyrie Irving, if you're on an island with him by yourself, it's gonna be danger for you. It's gonna be danger. You're gonna be calling for help, for sure.
I'm glad you mentioned your son. 11 seasons. I feel like time has flown on that one. But was there a moment? I think when you're a great basketball player and your son wants to do the same thing, is there a moment where you're worried that he's not going to have the right stuff? Did you know when he did?
Yes, I was worried. Yes, I was worried. And I was like, you know what? He may not have it. He may not have it. But it was an instance where he wanted to come out of college after his sophomore year. And I told him, no, you're not ready. He was upset with me for telling him the truth. And he said, what do I need to work on? And I told him what he needed to work on. And he went back and worked on it. And he got himself better. And the next year after they lost in the finals to Louisville, he said, by the way, they got cheated that game. The referee cheated that game. I just want to let you all know that. But he a week later, 2 weeks later, he said, Dad, I'm ready. I said, yes, you are, son. Yes, you are. And he just fulfilled all the boxes: dribbling, passing, shooting the ball, being a captain out there, being under control, being a leader, understanding that who to get the ball to. He's very unselfish. Sometimes I wish he'd just shoot the ball and be selfish, but he's very unselfish. If he see you open, he gonna pass you the ball and say, shoot the ball and make the shot. That's the way he is. That's the way he always going to be. And I think that the Dallas Mavericks, I want them to run some more catch and shoots for him. Some floppies, just like you, Lou. A scorer, a jump shot shooter needs to get that ball. They need to have offense ran for them so they go out there and feel like they in the game. Him just being in the corner, just sitting there, that's not him. He needs to be in the game. He needs to be moving. And I wish they run more and more movement for him. Floppies, a couple of staggers for him, and just move him a little bit more to get him in the flow of the game. So, but he's out there, he's having fun, he's enjoying himself, and he's doing what that I want him to do and he wants to do, and I'm very happy for him. I love just watching him play. I have a joy every time I'm there watching him in person. I'm just in another world.
Tim, earlier this year, he actually passed you on the all-time three-point leaderboard. What was that moment like? Obviously, as a father, to see that happen.
I'm gonna tell you this: if we shot threes like they shoot threes today, he would have never called me. He would have never called me. But if you want somebody to break your records, you want it to be your son. You want it to be your son to go out there and break your records. But the thing is Hardaway, Tim Hardaway, junior or senior, is still in the books. That's all that matters.
Perfect.
That's fire, man. That's so fire. Tim Jr., he's one of the favorites to be in the Sixth Man of the Year conversation. While we on the show, make a case for why he should have it.
He comes off the bench. He's a lethal factor on their team. At times when they need a boost, they go to him. They run offense for him, and he makes shots and he makes plays. It just like you, Lou. When you came off the bench, you could see the game, and you understood what you need to do and how you need to do it. You know what? We're not getting to the free throw line. I got to get to the free throw line. You know what? They not guard. They not coming off. They not getting over the screen. They going under the screen. So I get my rhythm shooting at three. And you always had that little, one or two dribble going left and hitting your guy and shooting and getting a foul, which I was like, that's not a foul, Lou. But anyway, but the refs called it for you because you worked on that and the refs gave it to you, and we knew it's just like Dale Curry. Don't let him dribble one left. If he dribbled that left hand one time, it's going in. So make him go right. So yeah, we knew that. But yeah, right. His case is I want them to run more offense for him. When they run more offense for him, it helps them as a team be a better team, but it helps him to be involved in more stuff that they saying that his team needs, and they don't have to rely on Luka and Kyrie for everything on offense.
Last question. In y'all's prime, I know y'all games and the styles are you have some similarities. Obviously, that's your son, but you guys play different. In y'all primes 101, who doing what?
Ooh.
Oh, I'm killing him. I'm killing him. I'm killing him. I'm gonna make him move them feet. I'm gonna make him tape them ankles up. I'm gonna make him move. I'm gonna have him touching the moon. Come on, Lou.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to get. That's what I wanted to hear. That's all I wanted.
You had to ask.
I'm gonna bag him up, and use all my back and jump hook him to death, all that stuff. Yeah.
Poor guy. Tim Hardaway Sr., this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time. Enjoy All-Star Weekend. We will all be watching Slam Dunk Contest. Come on, Stars.
We'll
be back with some more running back.
Y'all doing a great job. Keep up the great work. Keep giving people information about everything. And thanks for having me on. I appreciate you all.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
Coming on. We appreciate that.
We'll be right
Thank
back.
You. Yes, sir.
Like a running back. She known all over the map because you make it clap.
All right, All-Star Weekend bets. We're just going to go around our three-point contest picks. Chandler. Should I remind everyone who's in it? Damian Lillard, Halliburton, Trae Young, Malik Beasley, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Markkanen, and Donovan Mitchell. Go.
I got to go Damian Lillard. I think he's the best shooter in this contest. I think it's just a walk in the park for him. Just another day. I think he's straight cash. Give me him at a plus 390. Really good odds.
Could be better odds.
I'm
right,
rolling.
Lou?
Yeah, I'm rolling Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley, he petitioned to get himself in this. This is something that he wanted, so he's motivated and he's shooting the highest percentage. Give me Malik Beasley.
I thought I was being cute when I picked Malik Beasley. I was like, ooh, I'm going to get, and then Lou had already done it. So I'm like, all right, I have Malik Beasley as well. I think he's just going to be a surprise for some people. So there you go, the odds on that. Moving on to the three-point contest. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Sabrina and Steph three-point challenge. Chandler?
I'm actually more excited about this than the other one.
I know.
I gotta go Steph. Well, it's the best shooter of all time. Now, if it was her against some of these other cats in the three-point contest, maybe my answer would be different, but we're talking of shooting the best shooter of all time. I'm not picking Steph Curry.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick Sabrina so bad and be controversial and go that way. However, Steph Curry is the best shooter we've ever seen in our entire lives. Let's be realistic here. It's the reason he's negative 230 in odds, Steph Curry.
Well, as the only woman here, I feel like the ass because I also am picking Steph Curry only because I think he's angry and frustrated and he's coming out on fire by the season. Oh, I'm a bad feminist.
This is about good versus great, not men versus women.
Look, I hope we're wrong. I'll put it that way. All right, the slam dunk contest. You guys know the entrants. There are Mac McClung, Jaylen Brown, Jaime Jaquez, and Mr. Toppin. Chandler, who you got?
Yeah, I can't unsee what I saw last year, and so I gotta go with a friend of the show. So I gotta go Mac McClung. This is what he's put on earth to do. He's not playing in the NBA. He's not dunking in NBA games. So I think he's got a whole deep bag
This
of
is
things
his
that
calling.
we've never seen the shit this kid's about to do, and we want to see him do it again. Why are you laughing?
It's his
You just always take it too far, Chandler. You just always take it too far.
We've seen Jaylen Brown dunk. We've seen Jaime Jaquez. We haven't seen much of the Toppin dude, but like this guy, he's got something that we've never seen.
I mean, it's a good argument, I think.
I picked Mac McClung. Let's keep moving. I got
you don't
Mac.
have a bunch of poetry you want to put with it, like Chandler did? Okay,
no, I got
you
Mac.
don't want to say a riddle. You don't want to say a riddle.
It's an angel put on earth to dunk. Like, okay, fine. All right, I'm doing Jaylen Brown simply because I'm trying to manifest the stars moving forward. So that's really where my guts are going with this one, but I don't know. All right, skills competition. This is going to be a fun one. You know the drill. It's wait, how does it break down again? It's the number one picks, Team Indiana. And what's the third one? All-Stars, just random All-Stars. Okay,
Team
go.
All-Stars, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going with the home cooking here. I think there's going to be obviously more Pacer fans in that arena than other fans. I think they have the chemistry. They play every day together. These other guys, the rookies, the All-Stars, they don't play together. Simple logic. Give me the Pacers at plus 190.
Man, Lou and I are going to be so right across the board. Are we keeping track of these? We better be keeping track of these.
Yeah,
Lou?
the last I checked, the skills competition, there's no teamwork. Everybody goes on their own thing, then they add all the points up. So that logic doesn't help at all. So I'm going with team number one picks. I'm going with Wemby, Banchero, and Ant Edwards to win this skills competition.
Same. Those names alone, just for sheer entertainment, I am taking the top pick. So there you go. Lou and I are on the same page. But wait, last but not least, it right here, the actual game itself, East versus West. Chandler, who you got?
Okay.
Do you remember?
I picked the East, and I picked Giannis. I feel like every year when I watch an All-Star game, Giannis is the only dude playing hard as shit. He's going in transition. He's like crashing the offensive glass. No one boxes out. So I feel like Giannis is going to put up 30, 40 points. So give me the East. I think they're going to win the game.
Mad.
I think Giannis takes home the MVP just because he cares more. And I think he wants it. No one else cares.
Okay.
If memory serves me correct, Anthony Edwards was a snub last year and he was pissed off. He's in the game this year, and Edwards for MVP, even though he's coming off the bench. And Edwards for MVP.
I'm going East, and I'm going hometown love, Halliburton for All-Star. This is good. At least we finally have one where we all disagree on the MVP side of things. Good luck to us all. We have a schedule change for next week. We're an hour later each and every day, Monday through Friday. Things are changing in our worlds, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the All-Star. Chandler, hydrate.
Run it up, run it back, 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 run it up.